Put down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Savvy investors, you tuned in to the Savvy Radio Show. What up? This is your friend, Steve VanCauwenbergh, the Savvy Landlord, doing something, and maybe something else. Man, I'm so glad that you tuned in because you just hit up 464 episodes. Wow, that is a milestone. Maybe not for you, but for me, just 3 years ago, I didn't want to do this. A lot of people don't know, but a wholesaler, a friend of mine, he was just young in real estate, and we wanted to grow together. And I was like, man, I want to do a podcast. I know that's the future. People just want to listen and learn. There's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, we stopped it. This is about 5 years ago, actually. And then my wife one day said, hey, you need to do this deal. I think you have an opportunity to bless people, to encourage people, to give them the knowledge that no one else wants to give, to share the things that no one else wants to talk about. And I'm like, wow, like a pastor? No, not like a pastor, like a platform for doing good for others. So that's what this whole deal is on the Savvy Radio Show. This is for you. Now, I'm trying to grind it out. I'm a little behind, I know. I also would appreciate some feedback. And, the question you may ask, and you can ask me any question, and I will break it off as best as possible. And if I don't know the answer, I'll try to find the answer for you and get it to you. But, one question that's on my mind, if I was listening to the show, I'd be like, man, they were on fire for a minute. They were jumping off. They were popping. Where are they at now? Why are they so slow? And I'm like, yo, this is why. I have been building businesses. What do you mean? Why, VanCauwenbergh? I thought y'all into real estate. Yo, I am in real estate. Bleed it. I'm telling you, this has been almost the longest profession that I've been a part of besides DJing. I was DJing in 1992. Sold that mug a couple years ago. That's about 22 years. I'm getting on 20 years right now, about 19. And I can't believe I've made it this long. I can't believe my focus on real estate has been so consistent. And the crazy thing is, because it works, man, it makes money, period. Bar none. And the one thing I've been studying a little bit about real estate, it's not that hard. It's easy. And it's easy for some and not easy for others. So where's this going? 464 episode. Well, listen, the real estate market in Oklahoma City is not hot. It may be hot for the rookie. A lot of rookie investors have been flooding the market, and they're just ramping up prices 10, 20,000 or 20%, however you want to look at it, increase in the market. I mean, it's just nuttified out there, and the interest rates are growing up. So I was like, that's one reason why I've been kind of slowing down, because I still need to make ends meet. I need to make cash money. Why? Because I like to give. I think the more you give, it's just a better return. So I was like, well, just like what I did back when I started, everybody was going in the pretty house direction. I was going in the ghetto direction. When everybody was doing this, I'm always trying to go in the opposite direction and find my own niche. So I just accepted the fact that, I'm not in the game right now of real estate. Yep. Just last week I did lock one up and I'm buying. If you have one for sale, I'm in. And let it not be 110% of ARV. Okay. Let it be 70. That's what real estate investors should be buying property. If you just the first time, you never did a deal before. I remember when the first time I heard this man, Scott Necchitello, Oklahoma City, he's like, I only buy houses at 70% ARV. I was like, that's a joke. I was like, you're crazy. How do you buy a house 70% of value? Well, it's so true. That's all I do now anyway. And it makes sense. 10 years later, I heard that about 10, 15 years ago, he said that, and I was like, no way. And I do. I buy almost anything at 70% ARV. And right now, there is none at 70% ARV, which is after appraised value. So I got to figure out the ways to make income, multiple streams of income. And so I've been slammed. I just decided a couple of months ago, I'm just going to go all into businesses. I have some cash flow coming in, and I'm going to convert that cash flow into businesses. And on top of that, I'm going to partner with people, partner with businesses, ideas, workers, whatever. And that's what I've been up to. And so I do love real estate, and I will continue to grind until I get bloody, until I die. but it's too hot, so I got to hustle for the money. You hear me? I do have goals, and those are to give more as much as I can. I read this book just recently from David Green, the owner of Hobby Lobby. Give it all away, man. That's my deal, man. Andrew Carnegie, the same thing. He made billions of dollars half of his life, and the second part of his life, he gave it away. So, what does that mean for you? I know it's a long intro, but anyway, I am working on interviews. I'm working on entrepreneur endeavors. If you want to hear more about entrepreneur stuff, and I believe entrepreneurism goes with real estate, I think they're hand in hand. I think that you are a real estate entrepreneur if you are in business, and buying property, renting it out is a business. The government, the county laws, your local legal system considers you a business, so you may not have an LLC, but they're going to treat you like you do have one, so you might as well. I've been working much better on my coaching. I know, this is not a solicitation. Hey, I'm taking on people. I'm open to work with almost anyone, even someone in a wheelchair. I mean, that's my new big wheel. I'm excited. Even the most obscure people, I'm trying to fulfill and help their dreams. But I've learned to be a better listener and not a hammer dropper. Now, I'm still human. I still make mistakes, and still people get mad at me. I don't want to be the coach to pump people up, but I do. If you have an interest in entrepreneurism at all, that is my passion. That's what I'm going to do for the next couple of episodes. I've been writing them like crazy. I've been reading and researching like crazy. If you want to need encouragement, and as an entrepreneur, you just message me, and I'm down. Okay. Now, some people, even some of my homies, they follow me on the episode, on the radio show. Man, what happened, VC, on the apartments? Actually, I just got an email on apartments, and I'm looking at them. They're just way too gangster high. When I'm talking to my mentors that are just got 1,200 units, just crushing it, and they say it's too hot. Little VC down here says, yo, it's too hot. I'm still interested in apartments. One thing I did learn, that I'm not going to be a syndicator. I don't want to be white collar. I don't want to take people's money, try to invest in real estate, and then they own me. I want to do it as equal partnerships of sorts, and maybe we'll get into that another day. But here's the deal. Entrepreneur has been in my heart since day one. It was number one goal was to live in a crib. Number two goal is to own a business. And so today we're going to talk about the habits that prove that you were born to be an entrepreneur. I truly believe people were born, people were bartering back in the day. I think we're all entrepreneurs. I think we've just been suppressed by society that it's taboo to own a business, or entrepreneurs are flighty or shady. And I remember in the 80s, and it was a negative word. It's not now. Okay. Entrepreneur is, I love the millennials. They're just doing it. They're crushing it. They're just sharing rides and sharing rooms and realizing the economic impact that they can, two or greater than one. Pity the man that falls down. It doesn't have a brother to pick him up. So I've been reading a lot about entrepreneur. I came across this on Entrepreneur Magazine. Jason Demers, Demers. He's a guest writer for Entrepreneur.com, Entrepreneur Magazine. Jason, Jayson, Demers, Demers. So this podcast is based on my homeboy here. He wrote this article on 50 habits that prove that you were born to be an entrepreneur. And you know what up? We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about this conversation, and I'm gonna tell you what my take is on it, and hopefully this will motivate you to be an entrepreneur. Either you're gonna stop listening to the Savvy Radio Show, but for the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna try to dip into the entrepreneurism, and then I'm gonna get back into some interviews. I got some hot people that are coming out bringing it, and then of course everything revolves around real estate, solid asset. If you think you're an entrepreneur, you can't sit still. You're always itching to come up with something, to do something great. If that's within you, then you kind of maybe be born an entrepreneur. You're always coming up with ideas. Is that you? Are you good or bad? The flow of ideas that never stop. I thought as a child that something was wrong with me, that I would just continue to have ideas and I would try to suppress these ideas. And I'm just thankful for the, Google Keep and these apps that I could store these ideas, and then at the right time I pounce on those ideas. Is that you? Can you pinpoint flaws in other people's ideas. Not in a negative way, not in a critical way, but you see a business model that's working. I love Chick-fil-A. Not that I'm a big fan of eating poultry, but I'm a big fan of Chick-fil-A because they're constantly growing. I went to the drive-thru. My wife loves split tea, and so I was trying to, honeybee, give my love to the honeybee, go pull in and get her tea. And they changed the drive-thru up. They got people outside with stripes on. I'm like, this is dangerous. They're constantly changing. There was a flaw, and it constantly just comes natural to you. You pinpoint flaws, and you want to make it better. That's an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur solves problems. Here's another one. You marvel at successful business owners. This is what I love. Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates are just heroes to you. And I'm telling you right now, they're heroes to me. You're not an entrepreneur if you're jealous of those people. You should be cheering them on, and not necessarily in a competition. I can make it better. There's more room in the world, but that's a real entrepreneur. That these are your heroes. You marvel at their success. You just say, man, you go, boy, get it done. You get excited when you see successful business in action. Man, I love it when things just flow. Like I just said earlier about Chick-fil-A. It just gets me juicy. I'm like, how can I apply that to me? Like a local bar, supermarket franchise. There's a new supermarket in Oklahoma City called Uptown Market. I mean, it's just has taken some of the positives of grocery store shopping and made it a community, and they offer food and a juice bar. It's just a totally different perspective on grocery shopping. I enjoy that. You constantly think of ways to improve your employer's business. Now, this is you if you're not an entrepreneur yet, but I'm telling you, you want to be promoted. You want to make more money. You want to be like limitless or needed constantly. How can you improve the people where you work at? Most people just I come into work, get the money, and leave. Now, some people that don't want to be in a business, like that's just not their deal. But the people that I have that employ, that are staff in my world, we're constantly trying to be better. And they're rewarded for that. Maybe not necessarily monetarily, maybe just with love, time off, or a super birthday party. Whatever it may be. Some people are not necessarily motivated by money per se. When you're at work, you're only thinking about how could you make it better. That's an entrepreneur. You hate being told what to do. That's that pride inside of you. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You resent taking orders. If that rings a bell, you probably are an entrepreneur. You love to learn new things. I mean, obviously, if you made it this far in the podcast, listening to this, you're looking for that nugget. I think that's a true entrepreneur. They never rest on their laurels. They never sit back and say, oh, I'm a millionaire. Bing. I'm telling you, I roll with some millionaires. I'm just honored to be coaching them and loving on them and being around them. And they're the most tenacious people I've ever met. I'm like, yo, chill out. Get on vacation. It's okay. Or they're so jammed up that, hey. But they're always constantly learning. They have subscriptions to services. They hire coaches. They're increasing their life. Every time I speak, I always say, hey, man, spend 10%. I learned this from Zig Ziglar. Spend 10% of your income on growing on yourself. Not on a selfish way. We need to get some new socks or shoes or something. I'm talking about 10% on personal development. Just last week, man, I bought a couple courses on social media. How can I become a better social media person or start a social media business? And that may come out in a few things. Hire a tutorial. Maybe take a cooking class. I don't know. You take things apart to see how they work. That's a little engineer in you. But to really kind of get an idea, you want to know how does the phone function? Like I always wonder, like, where's the antenna? How does it, if that's you want to understand how things work and function. You want to be an entrepreneur? You dream of wealth. What will it be like if you reach this pinnacle or you reach this point in your life? Money isn't everything, but it does help, and is it on your mind? Do you think about it all the time? Then you may be an entrepreneur. You don't give up easily. Most entrepreneurs, the real deal entrepreneurs, a lot of wannabe entrepreneurs out there, you face tough challenges and you just keep going. You're relentless. One of my favorite words, relentless. If you're an entrepreneur, this proves that you're disciplined. Man, I just got back from running, and that's the same thing goes for this podcast, man. My goal is to crank them out, and not just crank them out to put them out, but to put them out with validity, with power. You listen. I engaged you, and you're just motivated. You're like, wow, I could do it. I am an entrepreneur. All right, but you got to be disciplined to do it. I had to get up and run. I didn't want to run, and you got to crush it. You might want to keep with routines, and it's not easily broken. I like routines. I also deviate from them to be better, but routines keep the consistency and success. You're not afraid of hard work. I'm telling you, go volunteer somewhere, grab a shovel, and serve. There's this camp that I'm involved with called Kanakuk Kids Across America, and a bunch of boys get together beforehand, and they go over cleaning the camp, making it a better place. And it's hard work. We're out there shoveling leaves from the fall, and it's just work, real work, hard work. And it just gives me perspective. What's my goal? What am I trying to do? You got to give it 110%. ET, give it 110. You have a high threshold of risk. Now, this is definitely, you have to be an entrepreneur for risk. But I believe, I guess I am riskful, but the reality is it's calculated in my mind. I guess I'm willing, if I put X amount of money on the table and I'm willing to lose that money, that's okay. That's a risk. I get it. But in my mind, it's calculated. I can figure out another way to get it. You don't mind taking risks. That's a real entrepreneur. You will fail, and that's okay. If you want to be a super duper entrepreneur, you got to meet as many people as you can. You got to tell them about your story. You got to tell them, or even sell them on what you're doing. I'm starting a new business right now, and I'm like, man, I got a network. How am I going to do this? How am I going to reach these people? What can I do? What should I do? And how can I do it? You can't be afraid of people. If you want to be a full-blooded entrepreneur gangster, you gotta go meet people. You got to talk to everyone you meet. Even when you don't want to, even in the airport, even in the elevator, you got to talk to people. Everyone you meet, it's intimidating, but I always think about that. They're as nervous as I am. They're shy as I am. And I know this entrepreneur who's super successful, and it's so hard for me to believe when he tells me this. He used to be this gut-wrenching, insecure, would never speak individual, and when you look at this dude, you're like, wow, he is just incredible. And it just takes time. If you really want to do it, you can do it. If you really want to be an entrepreneur, you have to meet new people and do the things that you don't want to do. You got to bounce back from failure. You probably heard this 1,000 times on the radio show. I say this: failure is feedback. John C. Maxwell has a wonderful book. It's incredible, Failing Forward. And I read it a long time ago, but I can't remember it verbatim, but I know that failure is feedback. And if you struggle with failure, that's okay. I suggest that you read that book. I mean, read John C. Maxwell, all of his books. They're all, I probably read about 15 of them. It's incredible for me. But you got to be able, if you want to be an entrepreneur, a real deal entrepreneur, you got to bounce back from failure. I'm telling you right now, 44 years old, been in business since I've been 18 or even earlier, been hustling since I was 11. Here's the deal. It stings. I get burned all the time, and I can cry. Oh, man, I lost this much money, which I have. 2018 wasn't as epic as I wanted it to be, as 2017 seemed like it. 2018, I got just hit with a baseball bat from the jump. We're already in June. I got some static from people, got lawsuits, all kinds of stuff. You just got to bounce back from failure. And then when I hang around someone that's been a little bit older, and the failures or the lawsuits that this cat has been a part of, man, my stuff seems small. It's real small. But what it is, it reminds me to keep on going, that I can do it. You're going to experience failure. You just got to get it back up and keep going. And what you need to do is hang out with the right people. Now, you don't like this one. If you like being if you think you think you were born an entrepreneur, you like calling the shots. You like to be the boss. You like to be the director. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You set your goals up for yourself. That's the one thing I realized. A lot of people, society don't set goals. They think they do in their mind. Like, I got a goal. I want to lose 10 pounds. Is it written down? Not only is it written down, is it blown up on your wall? Are you reaching a little goal to get to the big goal? Is that what you're doing? Or is this just an idea? Like, I got a goal, I got an idea. No, see, you got to write this down. You got to set goals for yourself and write them down. Big, small, gargantuan. You got to do it. And, I think, if I could be real candid, I struggle with ups and downs, and I see it. I'm honored to coach a lot of people, and I see they have anxiety, and then they dip down and they have valleys. It's so funny. When I got to 100 units, man, I was like depressed. I was like, wow, I did it. What is, and some magical thing, like I'm going to heaven. All right, peace out. Nope. You got to keep setting goals. That's the deal. Set small little goals, set big goals, set VanCauwenbergh goals, but set goals. To prove that you're an entrepreneur, you help people whatever you can. That's the cool thing about this game. People always rich people or entrepreneurs, they're very busy people, okay? So you got to reciprocate. If you're going to ask somebody for help, and I'm telling you, all the entrepreneurs that I know, the real deal ones, they're constantly willing to help. They'll sacrifice to help you. But if you're a real entrepreneur listening to this, are you willing to help someone else? And then when someone helps you, do you contribute back to them? Are you reciprocating to them? Are you giving back to them? Think about it. And you're also interested in the greater good. You find challenges in everything you do. Is that you? You find challenges in everything you do? You just want to keep crushing it, opportunities, making it happen. That's entrepreneur. You find ways to inspire people. Maybe it may be a t-shirt, quote, or Instagram or Facebook post. You just want to inspire people and encourage them. That's an entrepreneur. You got to get people on your team, and you got to lead them properly, and you got to inspire people. You have a plan. Do you have a plan? Everything down to the little details. Man, for some weird reason, I like to do that. Now, I don't like details, but I do like to plan, and I like all the little details. Like I just did this thing called the Snow Cone Social, and I was excited about this event for many reasons, but one of the reasons was I like putting on an event and all the little details, extension cord, a table. I wondered in my mind, I have a vision. What is it going to be like? Where people are going to stand? Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be cold? You got to write all the details down. If you're going to create a massive business that pays you daily, weekly, monthly, or you could retire from it, you got to have a plan. You got to have all the details. To be a super entrepreneur, you got to be proud of yourself. You can't have a low self-esteem. Okay. It's just not going to happen. You're going to get hit. Arrogance. You got to have a strong spirit about yourself. And if you're not, that's okay. Get with somebody that does, and you can let them rub off on you. But you got to be proud because you're taking risks. You help your friends solve their problems as well. I love, Zig Ziglar said that earlier. I mean, I can't believe that cat's been on my mind in a long time. But to be successful, you have to have other people get where they want to get so you can get where you want to get or go. If you want to be a millionaire, right? That's your goal, baby. You've made it this far. You probably shut me off by now. Then that's the whack crew. But the ballers, they looking for that nugget, and I'm going to try to bring that nugget to you today. But if I want to become a millionaire, I got to help you become a millionaire. And if I help you become a millionaire, I become a millionaire. Zig Ziglar also said that was real powerful. The more people you help, the more times you benefit. So true. And that's just selling a product. If you create a product that more people like, you'll just become more successful because more people buy it. Being willing to help people. You effectively delegate tasks and assign resources. Man, that's where I'm at right now. Real deal entrepreneur. You got to let go. You got to delegate. You got to think. You can't do it all. You can't scale your business beyond you. It's impossible. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have the great staff helping me accomplish what I'm trying to do. Back to the goal setting. You got to set deadlines for yourself. When do you want to lose that weight? And set expectations and have no excuses. I said this once before, but there's this dude, Pace Butler, is a guy. What's that dude's name? I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But there's a company in Oklahoma City called Pace Butler, and hopefully I remember his name. But he wrote this book called The CEO and the Kid. And I met this dude, Tom Pace. That's his name, Tom Pace. And I hung out with this guy a couple times. It's very interesting, a very, very wonderful entrepreneur, very successful man. And he told me this one time that he sets a goal to get up at 5 a.m. every day. And if he does not get up at 5 a.m., he will eat a can of Alpo dog food, for real. And the dude does it, and because there's no excuses. That's what he set for himself. You set deadlines for yourself and you do it, even if it's painful. You like telling stories about what you do, about your business, about your experiences, and you're good at it. You love telling people what you do. That's a great entrepreneur. Another trait or habit or whatever you want to call it, you're hyper competitive. I'm at summer camp right now, and I'm playing this game called Nerds. I don't know. I never heard of it before. It's pretty bomb. And I just got real competitive in my heart, in my mind. Are you hyper competitive? You're going to have to be, because you're going to get slapped in the face as an entrepreneur, and you got to get it done. You get involved with things like associations, groups, and people, okay? You're willing to assist and be involved. You can't be stagnant on your own in the middle of nowhere. And this is one of my favorites right here. You cut out things in your life that don't work for you. All right. If it hurts too much, you don't drag it on. You take, in my mind, you cut the losses. People, and I'm honored that people think that I'm some genius dude. It's so funny. This dude calls me a genius. It's funny. And I actually told him about it, and he got real juice at me on it. He's like, man, I'm just speaking that over you. I was like, that's cool. And I've heard that before, and I'm honored. I'm like, I'm not Einstein. I'm just some dude that just reads a lot of books and puts it to action, period. Well, anyway, I don't know if you know this, but I was on tour with this band called POD, Payable on Death, and I was traveling the country, and it was just getting burned out on this deal. And I was like, I was doing very well in the music business. It was one of my dreams to tour, to be on stage and experience and go to city to city. It was phenomenal, no doubt. Now, I love the number one question people ask me, how'd you get that job? Well, first of all, I just asked. I created the opportunity, but that's another day. Maybe I should do a podcast on that if you want to learn about that. And the one thing is, like, one day I got off a tour and I was like, man, I'm done with this. I have no friends. I'm making okay money, but I'm going around the country and I'm friends with these people, and they live in San Diego and I live in Oklahoma. This is not too, where is this going to go? Eventually the train's going to stop. And I got out. I cut it off. I was like, boom, I'm out. I don't want to do it anymore. I called this homie down in Tulsa. His name was, I can't remember his name at the moment. And I was like, yo, you want to, ride with POD? And he knew them, and he was good friends. And next thing you know, the market crashed, and this thing called MP3 came in the world, and the whole music industry was upside down. A lot of people say, oh, you were a genius. You got out at the right time. I'm no genius. I'm an entrepreneur, and I cut things out in my life that don't work for me. Doesn't work for you. If it's not giving you the return or the time or the satisfaction, you need to cut that deal off. You're in a relationship for a long time, you need to cut that deal off. You're an entrepreneur when you negotiate everywhere you can on anything. I was telling someone the other day, I was teaching some people on negotiations a couple podcasts ago. I even negotiate with a cat at Best Buy. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I've done it before. When a laptop came out brand new, and it was brand new, the dude didn't know anything about the laptop, and we were talking about it, and my boy Thomas Morgan was with me, and I was like, yo, can I get a case with that? And the dude gave me a case. He figured out how to give me a case. You got to negotiate. You see the potential in people, man. I tell you what, being an entrepreneur, I love this part, is I get to hire people, I get to pay them and bless them, and I get to encourage the potential, and I see potential in everybody. It just depends on what the gift that they want to believe in. You're calm in a crisis. That's me on a daily basis. Bombs are blowing off in my face. Just found out from my office. I'm at summer camp, called in, checked in. I had a concern. Someone tried to set a house on fire. I'm calm in this situation. What's going to happen? What's the worst? It's going to burn down. It'll be sad. Then I got to call insurance. I got more drama. Hopefully nobody got hurt. But the crazy thing, I was like, man, I asked the property manager, do you think it was malice, or do you think it was just some arsonist rolling around? And they're like, I don't know. But she told me the story that was very powerful. She said that there was a worker that left his phone there, and someone broke in, and he went back to go get his phone, and that's when he saw the smoke. Someone should have put some thinner in the oven and light the oven or some stupid thing. Isn't that crazy? Now, I'm not even going to tell my wife this situation. If I told my wife this, it may affect her. But if you're a real entrepreneur, man, you could just handle the crisis. The bomb will drop off in your face. You will get sued. Someone will hate you. Someone will be mad at you. Someone's going to curse at you. How calm are you in crisis? Can you handle it? Can you deal with it? And can you deal with it logically? You follow up with people when you want something or when you don't. You just follow up with people. So, dude, I talked about it yesterday. Dude, blessed me with my foot, and I have not had an opportunity. No, I didn't finish that story, but the dude hooked me up for free, which is what even more just Jesus is providing for me on a regular. But I was like, man, I got to follow up with this dude and thank him. Just like this attorney did me a solid this last Christmas and did me a solid. I said, how can I pay you? He's like, how about dinner? And I've been on this dude since January. Yo, when can I take you to dinner? You got to follow up with people, and you can't be weak about it. You got to have a system in place. You avoid things that waste your time. I talk about this all the time. I think cutting the grass is the worst thing you could ever do, and that should be your number one goal. If you have a job, you should just straight out the gate try to hire someone to cut the grass for you. And that should be your first thing, because not only it's very inexpensive, there's some child in that neighborhood that needs that income, and you can bless them, but it's just not healthy for you to be taking all the allergens and carcinogens in your body. That's one thing. Gasoline stinks, and just avoid things that waste your time. Your time is worth so much more. Do something else. Do something else with your time. You're an entrepreneur if you pursue people to get them on your side. And you got to recruit people, man. You got to get them on your team, and you got to pursue them relentlessly. There's a story on this dude we just hired for this business I'm involved in, which is just a bomb business, and I can't wait to launch that deal. And it's coming out July 15th to be exact. And we hired this dude, and we wanted to interview him, and he was a young millennial. And we thought about it, and it was like a Thursday. We called the dude back on Friday or Wednesday or something day, and we called him back on Friday. He's like, I already took a job. I'm like, and normal people would just be like, oh, man, shucks. Not only took a job, but he took it at least 20-30% more than what we were willing to pay the dude. For real, 20-30% more than at least 20% more of what we won't pay. 22% to be exact of what we were willing to pay this dude. And I was like, I talked to my partner. I was like, call the dude back, find out where he's working, why is he working there, and let him know the opportunity's open for him if he wants to change, or if things don't work out at that job, he's welcome to come over here. Now, that's faith. And the dude, we pursued this dude, and he tried that job, and he realized it wasn't going to go well. He's an engineer type. He's doing some engineer work for us. He quit that job within a day, came back, took a 22% pay cut. He's working with your homies. It's awesome. It's awesome. You got to pursue people in your heart. If it's your future wife, pursue. Husband, pursue. All right, you're an entrepreneur if you make rational decisions, not emotional ones. If this is an emotional game, you got to get over that deal real fast. True doopy-doo entrepreneurs, you don't forget people's emotions. You have to have sympathy for people. You can't just fire them and say, boom. Usually when I let someone go, I try to have a plan for them. Like I try to help them. May it be a severance pay, which they're not necessarily employees, or handyman that I've passed on to other entrepreneurs or other landlords. Hey, this dude's not working out for me. I can't really work out with this guy, but he may be a benefit to you. And I'll even make the phone call, even though I'm firing this dude. You lose track of time when you're pursuing your passions. Like right now, I don't even know how long this podcast. I know it's too long. I know you're going to shut it off by now, but I just won't keep working. I'm not getting paid. I pursue my passion to help you, to love on you. Hopefully these were all good. Hopefully you gained a lot of knowledge in this deal. If you have any feedback, let your boy know. You tuned in to the Savvy Radio Show. Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook, and always be buying assets.